ECOWAS Parliament mediation team to visit Niger Republic. Nigerian Air Force destroys illegal refinery and IPOB camps. Plus, NTA busts drug syndicates. These and more will bring to you shortly. Welcome to Panorama. I'm Ruth Aguela. The ECOWAS Parliament has formed a mediation team to visit Niger Republic and address the crisis resulting from the recent coup d'etat and detention of ousted President Mohamed Bazoum. The decision was made during the 2023 first virtual extraordinary session held on August 11 to the 12th, coordinated from the Abuja ECOWAS Parliament. Secretary General of the ECOWAS Parliament presented a Niger situation report focusing on the response of the heads of state and pertinent ECOWAS measures. The first Deputy Speaker of the ECOWAS Parliament from Nigeria, Idris Wase, said the committee will consult with the chairman of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, before heading to Niger Republic. The Speaker of the Parliament, Honorable Sidi Mohammed Tunis, directed the committee to engage in dialogue with the ECOWAS Authority chairman and formulate mediation strategies within the next 2 days. In a related development, Nigeria's intervention team, comprising prominent Islamic scholars in the country, approved by President Bola Tinubu, have met with the court leaders in Niger, where both parties agreed to intensify the option of dialogue in resolving the political crisis in the country. The Islamic ulamas, led by Sheikh Abdullahi Bala Lau, met with General Abdurrahman Tiani for several hours in Niger's capital, Niamey, during which they deliberated on all the issues, including the demand by ECOWAS leaders that former President Bazoum be reinstated. In a statement, Sheikh Bala Lau said the team had earlier told President Tinubu that the political impasse in Niger be resolved through dialogue, a message duly communicated to the Nigerian coup leader. General Chiani, who accorded the team warm reception, welcomed their intervention and said the doors of dialogue remained open. He, however, said the coup was well intended and that Nigeria and Niger Republic, being long-term neighbors, would work together to resolve the issues amicably. To other issues, the Court-Martial Federal Road Safety Corps, Dauda Alibiu, has advised motorists traveling through Abuja-Yola Road and those traveling from northeastern part of the country to the north-central to ply alternative routes for their safety. Now, this advisory became necessary due to heavy rainfall that happened yesterday, which lasted for some hours. There are reports of a failed culvert at Kalajaga village along the 118-kilometer Bauchi-Gombe road, whereby the heavy rainfall washed away the culvert between Bauchi to Gombe, requiring the need for an alternative route. Therefore, motorists from Abuja heading to Yola should go through Abuja, Jos, Bauchi, Darazo, Duku, Gombe, Yola, while motorists from Yola to Abuja should ply Yola, Gombe, Duku, Darazo, Bauchi, Jos, Abuja. The Nigerian Air Force aircraft have continued to destroy criminal elements operating in various parts of the country. NAF Director of Public Relations and Information, Air Commodore Edward Gabwert, says in the Niger Delta region, airstrikes on the Operation Delta Safe have targeted all illegal refining sites situated southwest of Bile, a coastal town in Degema local government area of Rivers State. Airstrikes were also extended to a well-known IPOB camp in Orsomugu in Ihiala local government area of Anambra State, following intelligence that IPOB elements in makeshift camps were planning an impending attack on innocent citizens. Similar airstrikes were also carried out on August 11, 2023 by the air component of Operation Hadenkai at a location about 1.5 kilometers east of Ara, a once deserted terrorist hideout near Sambisa Forest. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency has carried out intelligence-led operations in Lagos and 4 other states leading to the arrest of a drug baroness and 4 kingpins. The agency recovered large amounts of tramadol, cocaine, ephedrine, and skunk. The suspected syndicates were involved in various drug-related activities, including distribution and production. Meanwhile, the operations also resulted in the classification of substantial quantities of illicit substances and the arrest of several individuals involved in the illegal drug trade. So right now we want to talk further on this growing trend of drug trafficking, and we have a guest joining us via Zoom, Adeze Emanuela Ezizi. She is a senior project director for Serani. Thank you so much for joining us. Can you hear me?
Good afternoon. Thank you. Bye.
All right, Adeze, I'm made to understand.
I can hear.
Okay, you're very involved when it comes to this campaign against drug trafficking and the abuse, rather. What are the factors, would you say, is responsible for the prevalence of drug abuse and trafficking in Nigeria? What would you pin it to?
I will pin it to the mostly mostly from childhood, the environment, the background. It's really it really hurts children, because most of the time you see children from people around them. It might be their neighbors, it might be their friends, it might even be a family member. And most of the time, one of the biggest factors we have these days is the internet.
Yeah.
And the music being played, the wokeness of drug abuse, and we do not expose to them the repercussions, the after effects. It's just like it's more like a trend, mostly for the youth. So most of the time, we go to schools, we enlighten them about drug abuse. Hello?
Yes, I can hear you, Adeze. And please, if you could just stay put, because if you keep moving, the network fluctuates. So please just stay where you are. Don't move too much, please, so we can hear you clearly. Go ahead. Just conclude your first point.
So most of the time, we have to go to schools and explain to these kids that the music they hear, the wokeness of drug is not as interesting or grown up as they think it is. We explain to them the damages and the side effects of drugs. So it's very, 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 very important for parents to really start from when they are young, because kids are easily influenced in this our modern generation. You see what is happening around the country.
Yeah.
You have even it's down to the school, because you have kids going to school, meeting other kids. It also influences their behavior. You have the phone, you have the internet. It also influences their behavior. So it's most of the time it even has to do with their guidance, the abuse they go through, not having someone to help them or save them in a situation.
Okay.
And you see them mixing up with bad eggs and being influenced. So most of the time, we the last project Serani did, we were mostly focused on schools, mostly secondary schools, because the earlier you educate them about drug abuse, the better. Like it's like they always say, children are like the future. These are our future.
Okay.
So
Okay, Adeze, let me come in there. It's good you've mentioned awareness been happening, that is taking place rather in schools. You talked about parents. Parenting also plays a very major role. We have to ensure that our children are doing the right things. But what about the media? What would you suggest in terms of that campaign? Because you have to keep putting something in front of people for them to get used to that information, right?
Yes. The same way you have people promoting drugs, the same way we have to have people being against drugs. Musicians, movies, books, social media, having all these short clips on social media, educating kids. Like even down to animation, because most like when I was growing up, most of my mates, we always watched movies a lot. And most of the information we got was from movies. So if you have movies explaining to kids that, see, this is not good, this is not woke. You have social media videos, write-ups, explaining this is not good. Even musicians, you have good musicians. And one of the musicians that I really fancy is Faust, because he explained and tell you the repercussion of things. So you have musicians also helping out, educating our kids, telling our kids that this is not a woke thing. This is something that can destroy a whole generation. This is something that can wipe off a whole generation.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is how the whole stuff is.
Say, what about, we're not just focusing on drug abuse, but also the trafficking. When there's abuse, there's also trafficking. What would you recommend in terms of, international collaboration where young people have been exploited for this trafficking? What would be your recommendation?
Most of the people who are being trafficked are gullible kids that don't have good or stable family backgrounds, no good or stable guidance.
Yeah.
So these are the kids that are easily misled. If most of these kids that are for example, there was a project that we had. We went to the all the refugee camp. You see the kids. Most of these kids are gullible. Most of these people are very gullible. They need help. They have experienced trauma that is not everyone that can even adult experience trauma and go into drugs. They now talk about kids. So most of these kids are being manipulated. You see a child of maybe 9 years old selling on the streets, running errands. I think the government needs to build a platform more that is focusing on helping kids, saving kids from all these, saving kids, because most of the times they are the targets. So if there's a platform where we could, most of these street kids, put them back in school, give them skills, things to keep them occupied. Have a structure where a child that is in trouble or being abused or being used can call or go to for help. Even have more adults. Most times in this modern generation, they'll be like, it's not your child, mind your business. It takes a community to groom a child.
Yes.
You understand? So we should put it as our business. When we see things that are not good, we speak more about it. When you see a child being used or being abused, you come and be like, this is not good. This person cannot do this kind of thing.
Come and sit down.
I can't move, sorry. This person cannot do this kind of thing. Why don't you go and report the person that is using this child? Report to the right
authorities
so that helps.
Okay, Adeze, let's leave the conversation there. I know you're very passionate about it, but let's also ensure that counseling for victims of drug abuse is also being provided. And like they say, a stitch in time saves 9. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for joining us.
Very much.
All right.
Thank you.
Adeze Manuela Ezizi, she's a senior project director for Siranian. We're discussing drug abuse and drug trafficking. Let's take this break. We're back. Welcome back. The attention of the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation has been drawn to the publication in the Sunday Punch, page 6 precisely, which reads, FG sets up panel to reconstitute boards of parastatals. The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, says there is no truth in the story as published in the Sunday Punch. Neither has government set up any ad hoc committee as alleged to review the resumes of individuals who would fill such board appointments, as stated in the said publication. Also, the reporter inaccurately quoted that 14 agencies were stipulated to have been exempted, whereas the release in question at the time only received the President's approval for 2 agencies, NDLEA and NAFDAC. The SGF admonishes media practitioners to always cross-check information directly from authorized persons in their office, that is from the SGF's office, before depending on social media reports. President Bola Tinubu has extended his birthday greetings to a former executive governor of Rivers State, Dr. Peter Odili, as he marks his 75th birthday. A statement through the special advisor to the president on media and publicity, Ajuri Ngelale. The president joins the celebrant's family, friends and well-wishers in celebrating a life defined by remarkable accomplishments and an unwavering focus on human capacity development and political mentorship. President Tinubu applauds the former top contender for the highest office in the land for his pioneering role in advancing medical practice and education in the country, noting his establishment of the Pamo University of Medical Sciences, Rivers State, amongst others. The president prays for divine blessings, renewed strength and good health upon the celebrant, enabling him to continue serving humanity with fervor in the years ahead. National Executive Committee of the New Nigeria People's Party and NPP has affirmed the expulsion of party chairmen for Delta and Ogun states. The suspension of 7 other state chairmen was also approved at the emergency NEC meeting which held in Abuja. David Ire will tell us about it.
The emergency meeting was mainly to formalize the restructuring process of the party to attract more members. The National Executive Committee is particularly disturbed that some members at the state level were becoming major obstacles to the progress of the party, hence the need to wield the big stick and get some chairmen replaced.
We are duty-bound as progressive of our resolutions so that we can change the narratives. Let me again assure you that we can only build on a party performance of our lasting outing at the general election only if we work together as a strong and formidable team.
National Secretary of the party, Dikbo Olayuku, is satisfied with the attendance of INEC officials to the meeting and called for adherence to the party's constitution by state leaders.
The party embarked on restructuring geared towards correcting the anomalies noticed in the last general elections, with a view to positioning the party for greater heights as we trudge on.
The NEC also passed a vote of confidence on the NWC and the national leader of the party, Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso. In Abuja, David Ire, NTA News.
Director General, National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, Mustafa Habib Ahmed, says the agency will continue to make provisions for farmers and other vulnerable Nigerians affected by floods. The NEMA boss stated this in Kano State during the distribution of relief items to victims of the 2022 flood. Ilyasu Yakobo reports.
The distribution of relief items was categorized into 3 segments, from farmers affected by the flood to those who lost household equipment, as well as vulnerable Nigerians in need of assistance. Improved rice seeds, beans, maize, agrochemicals and water pump machines were presented to the affected farmers, and blankets go to those who lost household items, while vulnerable Nigerians got food items. The beneficiaries appreciated the federal government and NEMA for the concern and alleviating their plight. Kano State Deputy Governor Aminu Abdulsalam promised to ensure equitable distribution of the items to the beneficiaries.
I would like to call upon all the beneficiaries of this gesture to judiciously use the items in a manner that will be fruitful.
Director General, National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, Mustafa Habib Ahmed said, though the agency cannot compensate victims for their losses, however, the donation is to serve as a support to alleviate the sufferings of the victims.
This intervention is also expected to drive the sustainable socio-economic resilience of the targeted, most vulnerable individuals.
The program is expected to cover the 36 states of the Federation, including the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. From Kano, Ilyasu Yakubu, NTA News.
Have you ever seen an elephant live before? Well, I haven't, and I dare say only a few have, probably in zoos that still have them. Many may not be aware that this magnificent creature is facing threat of extinction. For Nigeria, a member of Elephant Protection Initiative since 2018 says not actively joining the global efforts to save the largest mammal on land is like ignoring the elephant in the room. Well, pardon my pun. Larry Belain agrees with me on this. He will give us crucial reasons why we need to save elephants.
Never seen an elephant live physically. It's only in movies, documentaries, or cartoons. And that's because even my visits to the zoo in Jos, that was in 2017, an elephant was not there. So for me, it would really be a good thing to set my eyes on an elephant. I would be very, happy and excited about the opportunity to see an elephant in Nigeria. Wow, where can I find them? Where are they?
World Elephant Day is an international event marked annually for the protection of elephants. Why? Let's start with the reproductive system of the largest mammal on land. It is slow and intensive, so it takes 22 months for a gestation period. An elephant hardly gives birth to 2 calves at a time, and their sexual maturity is between 14 to 17 years.
Refer to elephant as Ajanaku because of enormous physical appearance. It's not something that it will pass, that people will say we did not see it.
Nigeria has only a few elephants left, and the largest herd can be found at the Yankari Game Reserve in Abuja State, and a few in other parks across the country.
The elephant's world is a world of female, matriarchs. The grandmother gives a lesson to the daughter, and the daughter gives a lesson to the young ones. Okay. And it's like that. It's really, how can I say? It's really traditional from grandmother to mother to daughter. And the male also, they respect the older ones, and they live together. It's a very good harmony. Wow. I like elephants. I could speak for hours. I am crazy about elephants.
Really?
Despite the low elephant population in Nigeria, factors like illegal hunting, loss of habitat, and human-elephant conflict at the farmlands threaten their existence.
In the past 4 weeks, we've had 6 elephants that have been killed. It's a shame because it's not helping anyone, and we are losing our elephants.
The socioeconomic value of elephants is unique. These massive herbivore mammals, for instance, are the foundation of a $34 billion tourism industry across Africa.
Now you understand why we should save elephants for generations yet unborn. Let's take sports update. That's next.
World